Good morning, class. So today we start with the northern plain. I want you to turn to page number 75. Take your pencils. Underline what is underlined. Write down the terms which have been explained. The northern plain comprises of the plains of river Indus, river Ganga and river Brahmaputra. It is one of the largest plains in the world with thick concentration of alluvial soil and silt. So these are the northern plains, and these are the various we have the river Yamuna, we have the river Ganga and their tributaries flowing from this particular plain. The silt which they deposit make it a very fertile land. It supports prosperous agriculture. It is a flat, generally an undulating plain and devoid of any major relief feature. So there are no plateaus or no small hillocks as such, and it is a flat land which is very good for cultivation. And as extensive farming can be, large scale farming on large scale can be easily carried out over here. Now the northern plain, it lies between the northern mountains in the north and the peninsular plateau in the south. Please, the spelling of peninsula, plateau is not correct over here. Make sure that you correct it. A lot of mistakes in these books. The northern plain extends up to 2,500 kilometers from Punjab in the west. See, from Punjab in the west to Brahmaputra Valley in the east. So this area that you see, that also falls under the northern plains. All this area is the northern plain, the area which you see in green. The northern plains of India are formed by the interplay of the three main rivers and their tributaries of North India. Each of the three rivers erodes, deposits and transport sand, silt and alluvium and formed this vast fertile plain. So looking closely at the major rivers, Yamuna, Ganga, then you have the various tributaries, and here we have river Indus, right? The region is divided into three subdivisions. First, we will look at the Indus River Basin. Now, when you will look at the Indus River Basin over here, you will see that most of it, 2/3 actually, is in Pakistan, whereas only 1/3 of the river basin, Indus River Basin, falls in India. So first, let us take a look at Indus River Basin. The region is drained by river Indus, which rises in the Trans-Himalayan region. Its tributaries include Jhelum, Chenab, Beas, Ravi and Satluj. Let us quickly, Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Beas and Satluj, together they form Indus, river Indus. It rises over here, Trans-Himalayan. Now, Jhelum and Chenab flow through Kashmir. Beas, Ravi and Satluj flow through Punjab. See, Beas, Ravi, slightly it is touching here, and Satluj, they flow through Punjab, and Jhelum and Chenab flow through Kashmir. Now, Ravi and Satluj flow through Punjab and Haryana. Ravi and Satluj. So, Haryana and Punjab. Now, coming back to the paragraph, all these tributaries, it is not, this is again misspelled over here, meet the main river and flow through Pakistan as river Indus to drain into the Arabian Sea. See, the river Indus is draining into the, it is the distributaries over here. These are the tributaries. Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Beas and Satluj are the tributaries. They form river Indus. They flow for some time as river Indus and then they break into various distributaries before joining the Arabian Sea over here. Now coming to the Ganga Basin. It is drained by Ganga and its tributaries such as the Yamuna, the Gandak, Gomti and the Kosi. Let us quickly see Yamuna, right? Gomti, this is river Ganga, Then this over here is Ghagra, then we have Gandak, and we have Kosi. Gandak you can say, we have Kosi, Ghagra, Gomti, Ganga, Yamuna, then Chambal, Betwa, Son. Now coming back to the paragraph, children, River Ganga is approximately 2510 km long, rising from the Gangotri glacier. Now the Gangotri and the Yamunotri glaciers again are not marked over here. Got it? They originate somewhere here in the Mansarovar lake. Then the most important tributary of River Ganga rises in the Yamunotri glacier and joins River Ganga at Allahabad. So they are joining River Ganga at Allahabad, somewhere here. Now the Ganga basin is separated from the Indus basin by a low watershed. So Ganga basin and Indus basin are separated by a low watershed over here. The Yamuna also receives waters. That means the tributaries are Chambal, Betwa, Son and Ken. So Chambal, Betwa, Son, Ken, I can't see it marked over here. Ken is not marked. No, Ken is not marked over here. So these are the tributaries of river Yamuna before joining Ganga on its right bank. So here Yamuna and here they join Ganga. Yamuna and Ganga, they join together at Allahabad. Now on the left bank, river Ganga also received the waters of Gomti, Ghagra, Gandak and Kosi. So we have Gomti, Ghagra, Gandak and Kosi. So these are the tributaries of river Ganga over here. Now the slope of the Ganga basin is very gentle and is covered by thick alluvium. Now coming to the Brahmaputra basin, the eastern part of the northern plain consists, eastern part of the northern plain consists of river Brahmaputra and its tributaries. Again children, it is misspelled over here, tributaries such as Lohit, then we have Subansiri and Teesta. Teesta is again spelled wrong over here. Generally it is spelled as Teesta. River Brahmaputra originates from the lake Mansarovar in Tibet over here, and it is known in Tibet, it is known as Zangpo, and when it enters India it is known as Brahmaputra. Coming back to the paragraph, river with the name of river Zangpo. Through Namcha Barwa it enters India and ultimately enters Bangladesh as Jamuna. So here you see Jamuna. When it enters India at Namcha Barwa, it is known as Brahmaputra. Then it flows into Bangladesh and is known as river Jamuna over there. River Ganga, it also flows into Bangladesh and it is known as river Padma and river Meghna over there. River Ganga splits into two main distributaries such as river Hooghly that flows through West Bengal and river Padma. So river Hooghly is marked over here children, here. Now this is river Ganga which is splitting into river Padma and river Hooghly in West Bengal that flows through West Bengal and river Padma that enters Bangladesh to meet river Jamuna. Together as Meghna they flow into the Bay of Bengal. So both river Padma and river Hooghly they meet together as river Meghna and then drain into the Bay of Bengal over here. Now forming the Ganga Brahmaputra delta. So you will find the delta over here, and it is the most fertile and the largest delta in the world. It is known for its mangrove swamps and is also known as Sundarban or the beautiful forest. It is also the abode of the famous Royal Bengal tiger. Now children, this is important. The Majuli Island is the largest riverine island of the world and is found on river Brahmaputra in Assam. Now turning the page to the Peninsular Plateau, an area of land projecting out into the sea or completely surrounded by water on its three sides is known as peninsula. So this is what we are talking about. The peninsula surrounded by water on three sides. The Peninsular Plateau of India is one such landmass that extends over an area of almost 13 lakh square kilometer. River Narmada and River Tapi, flowing east to west, divide the landmass into Malwa Plateau in the northwest and Deccan Plateau in the south. So, Malwa it is here in the northwest and Deccan Plateau in the south. Then we have the River Narmada and Tapi, the only two Indian rivers which drain into the Arabian Sea. The rest of the rivers, they flow or drain into the Bay of Bengal. Now children, we will discuss in detail the Malwa Plateau, the Chota Nagpur and Deccan Plateau in the next class. As of now, I want you to give the three river basins a thorough study: the Indus River Basin, the Brahmaputra and the Ganga Basin. Please keep on learning each and every information which is given in this particular chapter. Though it is vast, but then again you have been learning it from very junior classes and you should have it on your fingertips. Anything which you have not understood, we will discuss it when the school reopens. Thank you.